Michigan denies RFK Jr.'s request to be removed from the ballot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know what's happened in the last timeline-wise. July 13, Trump's assassination attempt happens. 15th, he gets Secret Service. Then last week, Trump and RFK come together in Glendale, Arizona. Right before that, RFK does a press conference, whatever you want to call it, and he announces the fact that he's removing himself from the 10 battleground states, whatever it is. He'll be on the other 40, and he's supporting Trump. Then he walks into, Glendale, Arizona. Everybody flips out. Oh, my God, what's going on? And then, hey, make America healthy again. Then he goes on news talking about the fact that he may do something with Trump. And then he's asking to be removed. So now, for someone like you, with RFK, when I was watching you interview him, and you had him on many times, you guys would go back and forth and speak. My read was, okay, so you're not going to vote for Trump. And that's you've said I'm not, because your father, by the way, the letter in Trump's book, the second letter is your father, okay, in that book. Mm-hmm. And I read you the letter, if you remember that. And Kamala, you don't seem like a Kamala guy. I don't see you voting for Kamala. But I saw you voting for Bobby. So now that Bobby is going Team Trump, last week I had Brett Weinstein here, who's a lifelong Democrat. Uh-huh. I said, hey, I said, where are you now? I said, what are you going to do? I said, do you feel more comfortable now that Bobby is with Trump, that there's going to be representation on your side to vote for Trump? He says, Patrick, for the first time, I feel that because Bobby is now with Trump, I'm comfortable voting for Trump. Does this move of Bobby going with Trump earn your vote to consider voting for Trump?
No, but I don't tell people who to vote for, okay? I believe that Trump has disqualified himself from the level of leadership I think we should have. You don't have to agree with me. You do what you want. I'm still fair to him, okay? In fact, nobody has more reason to be less fair than I do when it comes to Trump, and I'm still fair to him. Had Lewandowski on last night. I have his people on all the time. But I'm not a Harris person because I don't pick sides, okay? I think that the level of leadership we're being presented with as options is unacceptable. I'm okay. I know you're supposed to vote. You're supposed to vote. I probably won't vote. I was not going to vote for Bobby. I had Bobby on because the two parties should not get to tell you who you get to hear from. And they boxed him out because it's a duopoly. That's why I had him on. Do I think Bobby was a better choice than the other two? No, I don't. Do I think he's qualified to be president? Probably not. That's irrelevant. What is relevant is he should be able to make his case. You should be able to decide that for yourself. Does it change my analysis that he's joined with Trump? Only in terms of what I thought was best for Bobby. I understand why he felt he had to drop out. I understand why Michigan's keeping him on the ballot, which is whoever's making that decision thinks that having him on the ballot helps
Trump.
Helps who they want to win.
That's right.
Okay, that's what my guess is. So, if I were advising him and he were listening, which are two very different propositions, I would have not endorsed Trump. Why? Because you hate Trump? No, I don't hate anybody. It's that the longer he would have waited, the more power he would have had. Because this race is going to be like this, Patrick. I don't care what the polls say. This race is going to be like this. It's going to be this close. And they would have been desperate for him come late October. And he would have then been able to ask for a lot more in return. Harris didn't want to talk to him, which was a big reason he went and talked to Trump. She would have talked to him come October. Come October, you can leave no stone unturned. So strategically, I would have liked to have seen that. Also, I don't know where Bobby's confidence is coming from that Trump will deliver on giving him a real position. Two reasons. One, I think that was said the first time Trump ran, that he would put Bobby in and didn't. The second reason is, if it's a real appointment, like an agency level appointment, I don't know that Bobby gets past Congress. Remember, They have advise and consent, right? If it's a real position. Now, you could just make them like, you're the ombudsman of health or whatever, the czar or whatever. You know what I mean? Like where you don't have to be vetted. But if he has to be vetted, I could see that being a real political war. But look, my motivation with Bobby, people are like, oh, you're family. I'm not family. My brother was married to his sister. He was family with my brother, not me. He was never my brother-in-law. I've known Bobby most of my life. I have a lot of respect for a lot of what he's done. Most of all, my opinion, is his recovery. I think that's really, really impressive to me. For people to live a life of recovery is probably the highest bar. But I've never been a supporter of his. I do support his right to exist within the process.
So what you're saying is, Chris, you're saying you're going to sit this election. When's the last time you sat an election out?
No, I sit them out on a regular basis because people follow me around when I'm going to vote and try to find out what's going on. And look, I know that the right answer, see, it's just the bullshit of all of it that bothers me, Patrick. Don't tell people, everybody's got to vote. Everybody doesn't vote, okay? And a lot of people don't vote because you have turned them off on a process that they believe doesn't lead to anything.
I think a lot, you know how the same way about, Tom, I'm going to come to you next. You know how the same way when you say Michigan is leaving them on because they think it's going to help the party.
That's my suspicion.
No, it's a very obvious suspicion, and I would be on the same page. I also think is the same reason why a lot of people like you who know, if Trump appointed, okay, let me ask you a question. If Trump gave a job, which would never happen, watch this crazy question, and look, don't give me a lawyer answer, bro, okay? I just want to see if you can give me an answer. Watch this here. If Trump gave Andrew Cuomo a real job, okay, would you vote for him?
For Trump?
Yeah.
No.
That's the point. So even if your brother got a position, you're still not going to. There's nothing Trump can do to get your vote, okay? Hear me out here, okay? So I believe. You're thinking about it now.
Yeah, exactly. I see the eyes, Cuomo. I'm just trying to think how angry Andrew's going to be.
Exactly. It's in the eyes. In the eyes. I see the eyes.
But here's the part where I'm going with this is I think the same way that you don't think the Michigan people are doing what they're doing. I think it's the same way a lot of people like you sitting this one out is going to hurt the left. I think that's what's going to be happening. Tom, what do you think about the Michigan situation?
But two things. One, there aren't a lot of people like me. I'm a media guy. That's how I'm coming at this from. And two, I have never, ever been deferential to the left. If your name is Cuomo, I vote for you. Andrew runs as a Democrat. I register as a Democrat so I can vote for him in the primary. He's in the general. I vote for him in the general. Then I remove my party registration. Why? I'm not a Democrat. I don't agree personally. And again, I don't tell you who to vote for. I don't like a lot of things about that party. It is not my father's party. Okay? I'm married into a Republican family. I have a lot of friends who are Republicans. Some of them are real conservatives. Some of them are Trumpers. Okay? And we have our fights and shit like that, but we love each other and it's bigger than politics. I have never registered as a Republican. Why? I've never had to vote for a Republican before because there was never a Cuomo running as one. That's my loyalty. My loyalty is not to a party. Huh?
To the Democratic Party.
I have no loyalty. Zero.
You've never voted for a Republican.
Oh, yes, I have. The first vote I ever cast.
President.
Yes, I told you this on this show. You don't listen. You don't care. I voted for George Herbert Walker Bush. My first vote, 1988, 18 years of age, running against Dukakis. I voted for Bush. Why? Because I was going to Yale. So was he. I felt Dukakis was like, all due respect to Governor Dukakis. I like him, and I think he's a smart man.
He looked very good in the tank, though. But go ahead. You're saying.
With the helmet. I felt that he was a poor man's Mario. So it kind of burned me that my father didn't have the ambition to do it. So I have voted for Republicans. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I know it's easy to say that, but all I can do is tell you the truth about it.
Thoughts? Michigan, RFK.
Stepping back to Michigan and stepping back into the sausage-making machine, I have been stunned by the manipulation. Not stunned by the manipulation, but just stunned by the quantity of it during this cycle. I mean, we know Bernie's been screwed twice by the DNC, the South Carolina manipulation last time, and now again, we know that RFK was completely manipulated. You look at the number of lawsuits. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the number of lawsuits that are in the public record now. They're being levied against RFK's campaign by state and regional DNC offices. It's naked. It's open. It's right out there. And then Nancy Pelosi is going on TV saying, "Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. It was Obama's from the book depository." No, it wasn't, Nancy. It was you from the grassy knoll. That's what happened. If you took the shot, you did it. It's always the simplest that makes sense. And now Michigan Secretary of State is putting its thumb on the scale under pressure, knowing very well that there is a lot of angst on the two candidates by the voters that actually want to sit it out, and counting on some percent of turnout being the protest vote, which would be for Bobby, including people that would feel pretty good about Bobby as a protest vote, because I happen to think he had one of the most sensible things, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, and I'd love to be Secretary of HHS and talk about vaccines and other things. You look at Bobby's position, I believe that. I believe he believes that, and I believe he wants to do that. And I think with Michigan, you're seeing just the latest move of what's been incredibly manipulative. And
remember why they're able to do it, by the way. This is the only dynamic we allow in our society that is not a creature of law. Parties are not in the Constitution. They are not creatures of law. The Supreme Court decided in the 70s, I think it was 1976, they are mere tradition. And they completely control our process for their own benefit and no one else's. And that's the reality. That's what's pissing you off. And it should.
It does. And also, John Roberts, who I admire and respect as a tremendous jurist, I will forever, look at what has been, and I don't know how use the phrase unintended consequences, but I don't know how unintended it was that opened the floodgates to these multi-billion-dollar
Citizens
elections.
United.
Exactly.
Yes.
Citizens
2010,
United.
I believe, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's Roberts.
Conservative group, by the way.
Roberts penned it, and everybody went
Citizens
with it.
United.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
They were in power. They wanted their money to flood. They got their decision, but now the flood covers all mankind. And that's where we are.
So, okay, we'll see what's going to happen there. But do you think there's going to be more of those 10 battleground states that are going to follow Michigan's lead to say, you know what, we're also going to leave them on?
I think it's happening right now. I think it's absolutely happening, because when Bobby said they're retaliating against Bobby, because Bobby said, well, we're going to stay on in these and stay off in those. So he kind of articulated a playbook, and they kind of retaliated back and said, no, you won't. Because remember, he said, I'm going to pull myself off in certain states and I'm going to be on certain states.
Why would you even do that? So does it make sense now for Bobby to now react and say, guess what? I'm out. I'm not even suspending. I'm just out all ballots. Does it make sense to now do that, or not really?
I don't. Well, they're claiming, well, you're in Michigan. By the way, Jocelyn Benson, I haven't seen her say anything. Maybe she did, but they sent Sherry Hardman, who's the press secretary for the Secretary of State Michigan, out to say, no, the minor party can't withdraw after they have their equivalent of a deadline date with regards to their convention, or the equivalent of
Is that
convention.
a law, Tom, or is that like a preference, choice? They get to do whatever they want to do, but it's not a law.
I don't know whether it's a law or it's a regulation or it's just the position of the Michigan Secretary of State. Minor party candidates cannot withdraw, so your name will remain on the ballot because the date has passed that your group has met, and you put yourself on the ballot with who did he choose? He had an unusual group that he chose in Michigan. Find it here. Oh, the Natural Law Party. So he aligned with the Natural Law Party, which has, position in Michigan to get candidates on ballots. And they're saying natural law is already met. You're on the ballot. You can't change it.
Tom, don't forget, that's impressive that you know whoever these obscure people are in Michigan, but who's the governor of Michigan? It's Gretchen Whitmer. And she's a Democrat. She spoke at the DNC. And we just talked about Pelosi having more pull than Obama. Well, when you're in government, I don't think it's a shock that when you have people that answer to you, probably have more pull.
I don't know that they're
Gretchen's
right.
thumb is pretty big.
Yes.
I don't know that they're
saying.
right. If I were you guys, I'd have Charlie LaDuff on the podcast. You know who he is? Citizen journalist, Pulitzer Prize winner, by the way, when he was at the New York Times. He is Mr. Michigan, Detroit specifically. He's got an amazing depth of read on that state. I don't know that in the hard-bitten areas of Michigan, outside the lake, the rich lake area there, that people who don't want to vote for Trump may see Bobby as the rejection vote of the Democrats as well. It may not work for them the way that my suspicion is. And again, I don't know, but if the suspicion is, let's keep Bobby on because he's going to take away from Trump voters and it will help Harris, I don't know. There may be people who say, like, I can't vote for Trump, but I can't vote for Harris either because life has been too hard here in Detroit for too long. I'm voting for Bobby. Could go against him.
We'll see what happened there. Did you see this, Tom, this morning? New candidates, outsiders are wanting to. Can you come in this late? 2 candidates are running for office this late? I don't know if that's even Rob, this is what story is talking about this? What channel is this?
Let me pull it up. Hang on one second.
Why would New York Post and New York Times talk about these 2 candidates can you pull up the campaign on what their slogan is? Pull up their campaign on what their slogan is. Here we go. The latest campaign. Zoom in, Rob. Zoom in. Ellsworth Sosnick 2024. Shut up, you little. It's their slogan.
Well played, guys. Well played.
Rob, can you do me a favor and play the clip for people know where this is coming from? By the way, can you have ever seen this?
Joke.
If that shirt exists and I don't get one in an extra medium before I leave, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Guys, that shirt is here.
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it. You give it to me. I'm wearing it right now.
You got to be kidding.
This guy's getting naked on camera right here. What is happening right now? Ladies, don't look. Look away. You're not going to.
Rob, go to my Twitter account. It should be on there right there. If you just go on my Twitter.
This is good.
This finally something I can get behind.
That's what she.
You got to try a little bit.
Ellsworth Sosnick.
Shut up, you little bitch.
This
just what my mother used to tell me.
Have you seen this clip on what happened or no on the podcast? Is this it, Rob?
We're doing this now?
Oh my
this
God, we have to show. So on the podcast, this is a couple weeks ago. Adam and Tom are going at it. And next thing you know, okay, Tom, Rob, it's right there. If you just go on my account, you should be able to see it. I retweeted it.
Oh, okay.
I'm texting it to you as well. It's not hard to find. I think it's 6 down. Yeah, if you keep going, 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 you keep going. It's about to come up. Go one more right there. Okay. This is why the campaign started, folks. And you guys go ahead and play this clip. This is just a very special moment between the 2 candidates, the president and the VP. Go ahead.
More balanced. Oh, I read.
Tom, what's your point, dude?
I went into the, oh, you're trying so hard, you little bitch. You know, it's like, it's like, you know, Tom, what you have.
Tom, you're the smartest guy in the room. You're rambling on and on and on.
Almost killed Vinny. Almost killed Vinny.
That's why he's not here today. Tom, no shit. Give us what's your point?
Textbooks, baby. So
you can pause it right there. So for those of you that support the Ellsworth and the Sosnick ticket, and you like their slogan, this will be limited merch. We will never sell this again, guys. I'm telling you right now. If you want to go get that gear, 2024, that's the merch right there. It'll sell out. We don't have a big amount of shirts. This is less than 500 shirts that you can go order. So once you order, it's out. It'll be limited edition. People won't see it. But we also have this one, which I freaking love. You'll see me sporting this one here. It's the Future Looks Bright 2024 campaign shirt and the red one. Pick and choose either one of those. You can go on vtmerch.com to place the order, but this is a special one. All right, sounds good.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.